recognizing the people of Gulf Province. Firstly, I acknowledge the work of the committee for this beautiful report. I rise today not as a partisan advocate, but as a proponent of our supreme law. We are here to deliberate on the organic law on certain constitutional office holders, Amendment Law 2024. To some, this is merely a changing number from 55 to 72. But as provincial member of the Gulf Province, this is about whether we choose to be a nation of institutional memory or a nation of institutional amnesia. Something here, people of Parliament. Our Constitution, the Mama Law, under Section 176 and Section 124, created guardians of government. Yet for nearly 50 years, we have experienced a form of national brain drain. And sampler issue here, alarming threat. Therefore, forcing us into a wilderness at just 55 years. You misalimol, Gadiame, at the peak of their profession, we kicked them out of office. Thank you, Committee Lucia Report. When the state has the power to take a man's liberty for a life based on a single testimony, it raises another alarm. Our Constitution, the Mama Law, under Section 176, also may talk penis and creating this law position for a reason. Why do we need a 70-year-old public prosecutor? Sampa ba asking. So me like straight in Lilik neck. Look at the Criminal Code Amendment Bill 2022 regarding sorcery accusation-related violence. This law addresses all glassman na glassmary, all con artists by society of Papua New Guinea, that they prey on the vulnerable for profit. People, under Section 520D, a person procuring their services for a crime resulting in death faces life imprisonment. Furthermore, Section 520G stipulates that corroboration is not required. Now, we can talk this la. We cannot have L plate or Lema permit kind prosecutor go na attack na fight lo case lo this la kind online. You may know enough. Salim or Pikini go fight lo this la kind heavy. Serious. We need the heavyweights on that experience. They know what they will be talking about and arguing on the floor of courts. You sabe, men and women with 30 years of experience on trial ardent experience to enter the glassman or go argue na glassman go to jail. And important. And the innocent will be saved. So you need him kind of man. You like you may look again at Section 214, the Auditor General. Now you are looking good to love. You see, in Gulf, our remote LNGs are crying for services. Karay go na me to take buruk now. The Local Level Government Administration Amendment Bill 2024 recently introduced stricter financial regulations to prevent the misuse of public funds. Tracking a paper trail that stretches across 5 years and 20 districts requires more than just a degree. Good. It requires institutional history, or savelo in and out of government, how lo talk lo man lo one plus. Man got 5 years experience, but not making kind. A 55-year-old Auditor General who is forced to retire just as they uncover a decade-long fraud scheme is a victory for the corrupt. Or by continuing and making this like that. But by extending the age to 72, we ensure that those who gather our money have the long sight to catch those who steal from our children's future. I want you to also consider the clerk of the National Parliament. The clerk is the engine room of our democracy when you look at it properly. They ensure that every standing order is followed and every bill is properly certified in the process. When this kind of reason we're creating these constitutional officers, the following process in a blockade sort. They ensure that every standing order also may talk in times of constitutional crisis, when votes of no confidence are called, and when the floor of the House becomes a storm of procedural points. We talk in plan. We need a clerk who has seen every crisis since 1975. Saposumi Rausum Odisla Save Man na Save Mary quick time to us. People Gulf people bakondilo crying no suffer. Yili bagarapin rockbo government. Standardizing the age at 72 or some the Constitution Committee proposing inside additional bill. And by ensuring that you got no free of our democracy. When managing good this game, you may play him stop here. And as an intellectual, honest governor, I must admit these risks. First, in the sense that there is a fear. You go to young plato, oh, lapunem, come look out in office, now you gain plat chance. But you must scale in votation. It is important to have these men and women who are experienced to stand as guardians of the process. And secondly, we got issue about stagnation. Will a 70-year-old leader embrace the difficult transformations of our courts? I'm all by asking me at here. But I support this bill only because of a mentorship mandate. These officers must become academies of excellence here. At 70 to 75, we will be able to teach the young ones in the offices. And I really would like to stand and say, people who are mandated and who are in these offices on the greedy line. Honorable members, if an officer stays until 72, they must prove they have mentored 5 successors. Furthermore, we must actively use Section 223, which allows for a removal of any officer for physical or mental infirmity or misbehavior. We are advocating for active wisdom, not ghost leadership. In Gulf, we know that the old trees provide the shade under which the new seeds grow. If we cut down the trees too early, the sun will kill all the seedlings. This amendment is not about protecting individuals. Then you know, favoritism amendment. It is about protecting the state. It belongs. It brings legal certainty, democratic maturity, and protection for the vulnerable. From the perspective, of Papua New Guinea, also talk, we value the wisdom of the elders, all by guarding good and carrying legal forward. But from the perspective of Yangpa, also talk, we demand pathways of growth. This bill, with the right safeguard, provides both. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Governor for Gulf. Member for Karamu Nomane.